Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Ssds here, and today I will be giving you some more 2v2 commentary. Um, we're not going to be talking about the most meta comp. I am working on trying to get Fury Warrior and DH recordings for you guys to get them out as soon as possible, but I can only give you what I queue into. So today I'm going to give you some a little bit off meta comps. Some of them are meta, but some you may not see. But I want to use these games because some of them are against really good players, and I want to use these to kind of just hammer home some of the basic fundamentals you need to be doing your 2v2 games. So the first games I'm going to be going over are into Wrestler Druid Marksmanship Hunter. Um, I'm going to throw up on the talent on the screen here. Both honor talents are in regular. You'll notice one thing is that I'm not playing Mending Bench. There's two reasons for that. One, I knew this hunter wasn't Venthyr, so I don't need Mending Badge. But two, typically in Marksman hunters, I don't like playing Mending Bandage because the damage profile of Marksman is if they fire a kill shot, there's not a lot of consistent damage to go with it to kind of kill you as it does with BM and Marksman. Or BM and Survival, I'm sorry. Where they do a lot of consistent damage, so even after the kill shot, you're going to get chunked. What a Marksman hunter uses a kill shot on you, unless they have an instant aim shot proc, they're not going to do too much damage to follow up, so it's a lot more manageable. So I like to play tactics, so when I feign death and aim shot midair, it does reduce damage. I like to play Ross to try to counteract their double tap. And then I play usually Chimeral Sing to help get extra CC on the healer. So let's just jump right into these games. Um, so one of the things I want to focus about here in this matchup particularly is swapping the healers at certain points in the game. That's like one of the Sorrel's great strengths is that in certain matchups, it can do an immense amount of cleave pressure, which really puts down the enemy team here. So right here, Hunter runs in, he pops his true shot, his all of his cooldowns. I waste my feint. I didn't get the feint on the aim shot, but I do Intim Trap here, but I'll pause right here. This Intim Trap I should have held. Hunter didn't have too many hots, but he had Iron Bark and Roar Sacrifice, so we don't get too much done with this trap go, so I definitely should have held my trap here. One thing you want to try to do into archers is you don't want to go in Iron Bark or Flourish, because that's going to be, unless obviously they have no hots, then you can go in the Flourish, but um, those are very strong, potent cooldowns. So going into those isn't gonna really help you. You know, they're usually gonna not have to trade major cooldowns or not die in that. So right there, that was a poor Ironbark on my part, or poor trap into Ironbark on my part. But I see that he has Death Chakrams. I mess up the feint a little bit, but the explosive shot damage doesn't go off. But I definitely should try to hold my feint death a little bit more here. I picked up this game too because there's a lot I did do amazing in this game in terms of reducing damage. You should definitely be against Marksman hunters. Outside you go, definitely be trying to line the hunter as much as you can. Stop the aim shots and aim shots. So right there, instead of just hitting the hunter, I'm cleaving druid because I know the druid has full hots on the hunter, and I want the druid to fall behind. I want him to have to start hotting himself because that's going to help you burn through the mana faster. It's also going to make your goes more potent because he's not going to have his full array of hots onto the hunter when you're getting your traps. So the hunter is going to be taking more pressure in that. So you'll notice a lot of times in these games, I will just randomly swap druid. I'll even commit some good damage to druid. Like right here, I end up forcing regen proc because I was committing so much damage. So now the hunter here doesn't have any. Hasn't only has scenario ward really, but doesn't have any really strong hots. So as they're all expiring, so it's a good time to just swap hunter here. The druid's trying to run away. I'm just always trying to hug the pillar as much as I can. Try to avoid as much hunter damage here as I can, um, and just attacking, waiting for an intim trap here. He has true shot here. I feigned at the aim shot. I didn't get the cast, but didn't get the actual the cast. He didn't get the cast off, so I didn't really reduce the aim shot. But so right here, what I should have done is I stick out for his true shot. It's true shot. I definitely should have been running away here. This is a bad time, but I send the intim. I send the trap. The hunter has only really adapted sort of scenario ward, so he's not looking too good here either. We get a chastise on him, mind games. We have a lot of pressure here. I have a tier set proc. So we're definitely doing pretty good. He does Aegis this, so that does help hold his turtle there. We do kill his pet. I shouldn't have kicked that pet res. Honestly, stopping pet res against Marksman isn't super important because it's either 25% moral strike or 10% damage increase for him. And definitely dampening the 10% damage is a lot more scary than than the Mortal Strike. So here's another situation where I'm getting the Raptor Strikes off, but I don't really need to. Especially like during Ironbark, you'll see here I immediately start running away, but I should have been running away sooner. Um, I'm actually just gonna do some random poke damage. Gonna throw my Kim Sting on this Druid just to kind of stop him from healing because his hots are falling. Um, Ironbark is gonna fall here. We get the stun on the Hunter. Gonna commit my bomb procs here. I'm gonna go for a Harpoon Trap. But right there, I knew for a fact that he was gonna shrink that trap because if he doesn't shrink that trap, that's his trinket. So I harpoon, but I hold my global. I don't immediately throw the freezing trap because I know he's gonna shrink. I don't want to get immune, and now he's just having the shrink during the street form instead of getting regrowths off. So I hold it off. I don't go for the trap immediately because I don't really have any way to get to him. I don't have my intim. I don't have my harpoon. So I'm just gonna put my serpent sting on, kind of cleave, but I'm still hitting Hunter because Hunter's pretty pushed in right now. Right here is definitely another time I should be running away. I do send the intim here though because the Hunter doesn't have too much shots and I can definitely get a lot of pressure here. Yeah, that's the reason why I use this game. This isn't a perfect game. I definitely didn't play this amazing, but I wanted to kind of point out the mistakes I was making in this game. Because like right here, this entire true shot, I definitely tank it, and my healer had to use Guardian and use cooldowns in a poor way. We end up getting Turtle, which is good, but you know it's definitely not worth having to use so many cooldowns just to get a cooldown like that. When you'll eventually just beat this team of dampening, you'll out PV the Marksman Hunter. So right here, you'll see once I get Turtle though, I swap to the Druid. I get the Druid low. We end up forcing the Druid Trinket because of that. So now they're far behind. They don't have Turtle. They don't have Druid Trinket. Druid is definitely struggling to heal through this because we're swapping around so much. He does recover though with the Tree Form proc from his tier set. So it's but the hunter's still low. He doesn't have Ironbark, doesn't have NS, doesn't have Flourish. I do end up getting a trap here. The hunter here, I believe, barely lives by the skin of his teeth. I end up not going for much kill because my pet starts dying, so I start trying to make sure my pet doesn't die. And he probably could have died if I wasn't using my globals. Hunter gets around the pillar. I could have maybe cheated to get to that hunter there, but the druid ends up topping with an S. So I just try to stop the druid as soon as I can because there's Ironbark and Nets on him. So now but druid gets away, so I'm just back to hitting the hunter, just kind of doing my damage rotation. I should be lining here a little bit more. So right here, the druid gets a reself, and you'll notice that I throw a flare on myself because I know the druid is feral affinity. So I'm trying to stop the stealth stun so he doesn't get a double stun and they get a big go here. But druid just comes out because the hunter is way too far behind. I go for the intim trap right here. Hunter Agassiz is going to help him keep him alive a little bit longer. He gets the scatter trap on my healer as well, but I get the kill shot crit, and that is game over. Now let's go hop into the next game I want to go over. Alright, guys, here's our second game against the Marksman Hunter Arrested Druid. I want to point out this game here because I do a significantly better job at what we'd like to call weaning the Marksman. I'm definitely I stop his damage a lot more in here. I don't want to use the second game as well to kind of talk about when you should be feign deathing against Marksman Hunters or just really casters in general. Is if you say you're fighting a Frost Mage, a Destro Warlock, Marksmanship Hunter, things with big cast damage, once they get the cast off, that's when you should be trying to feign death. It's a little harder with aim shot to do it because aim shots has a faster travel time than Frostbolt and Chaos Bolt, but you should try to be getting the casts while they're in air so then you can reduce their damage and they've committed that cast. So right here we go for the intim. I don't risk the trap though because the druid is just on top of him. So once the druid gets away from the hunter, that's when I go for the trap here. I got my cooldowns pumped and I'm going here. It is his true shot, but my priest isn't in CC and it's my cooldown, so I'm kind of just not respecting his cooldowns. I'm definitely just trying to hit them, but as soon as the druid's out CC, I go to start cleaving the druid. Especially if the druids are feral affinity, you should really be trying to cleave them. But my priest does get a fear though, so I go back to hunter. I end up putting my flake shot on hunter here because he just feigns, so I'll lose probably 3 seconds of flake shot if he feigns off cooldown, but he most likely isn't feigning off cooldown, so I will get a full value flake shot on there. So you see right here, this is what I'm doing infinitely better this game. I may have tanked the first true shot, but the moment RCC is done on Druid, you see I'm just right at the pillar. I'm not messing with it at all. I'm kind of just I'm really making it hard for this Marksman Hunter to do damage. That's kind of the name of the game. If you're winning his damage as much as possible and dampening, you'll just win because you'll just be able to do more damage from the pillar. So Right here, I go for a Harpoon Trap. He does unfortunately trank it. That's one I should have realized he was going to trank as well, since he didn't really have any cooldowns, but it's okay. Just gonna put a Serpent Sting on the Druid, but I'm still gonna hit Hunter because Hunter doesn't have a whole lot of hots and he's still really low health, so I can definitely still get some pressure. Druid does get a Tree Form proc here though, so it's a little unfortunate. I waste my Feign there, didn't get on the double tap, but now I just go to run away, so he can't get the aim shot. He has to commit on a rapid fire if he wants to get that cast, that double tap off. He does have a Death Chakrams here, so that's also one thing you kind of want to save your Feign Death for. If you know the Hunter's Necrolord, you want to either track the cooldown of Death Chakrams or keep it in your head. So if you know he has Death Chakram soon, don't use your Feign Death. Just tank his damage. That way, when Death Chakrams is out, you can get rid of the physical damage increase that Death Chakrams provides. So right here, we're just both on a corner, and I'm just making it really hard to get a cast. I lost this True Shot. I didn't Feign Death the aim shot. I probably could have gotten it off, but I Feign Death that rapid fire. That's kind of a bad Feign Death, but it's okay though. We're still reducing some amount of damage as long as I'm not completely wasting out on nothing. So we get a Intim Trap on the healer. The Hunter is getting kind of low. Druid has to trinket out. I put my Kim Sting on Druid, and I just start to immediately cleave Druid because the Hunter got away. He's flesh crafting, so right now it's just a good time to tap target this wrist Druid, commit some of my damage into him, and really make him have to swap his hots around. See, now he doesn't have any hots on the Hunter. He has a Death Storm that's just falling. Though he does have a full Necro shield, we can just swap the Hunter now and get a lot of pressure. He does, I unfortunately waste my double tap, my Feign Death there, so now he double tap Death Chakrams me. Thankfully, my healer's in CC though, so it's fine. He wastes Feign there again, so I put the Flake Shot on him because I know he won't be able to Feign on anytime soon. Go for the Harpoon Trap on him. Even though he has full hots, I have a lot of damage here. I have a bomb proc. I have my cooldowns up, so I'm very confident going here for the get go. Priest doesn't have any follow up though. Doesn't have a stun on Hunter either. So once there goes over, I immediately just go to the pillar. I start running away. Do a little cleave damage on Druid, trying to just spread my pressure out, make the Druid have to worry about healing more instead of trying to go for things like clones and restuns. So just chilling on the pillar. I notice he swaps to my pet. That's the only reason why I walk out, because you can't pet Feign Death while your pet's out of line. So I go into line to Feign Death my pet, so he's not getting any damage on it. And yep, it's just kind of like I should be at the pillar here, but my priest does stun that. We get Iron Bark here, so I'm not gonna commit Intim stun on the healer because there's no point. He's not only is the Druid lining, but there's no point of going to Iron Bark. But the Druid isn't really trying to do any damage. He gets a re-stealth, so I immediately throw the flare on myself, make it hard for him to get that rake stun. He goes for it on my priest. He bashes me, so that way he doesn't get countered by the flare. I turtle his cooldowns here because I'm about to get an Intim trap, and we're about to have a very strong go here. So I wanted to go offensive, so I just commit turtle because this game is going to be over soon. They're running out of buns. They're not going to be living much longer. But the Hunter unfortunately did line me in my entire trap, so I just swapped Druid here to just hit something. Because you always want to be doing damage. You want to minimize your downtime as much as you can. You always want to be doing damage as much as you can here. So now I'm just kind of committing damage here. Druid doesn't have too many hots. He has decent hots, but there's no Daft to Swarm, so these hots aren't gonna save this Hunter. Druid's trying to get a maim up, so I get a full trap there, and then I end up killing the Hunter there. So that was a little bit misplay up by the Druid there. For just trying to get a maim up, I ended up capitalizing and getting a trap. Alright, let's hop into the next games. Alright, now the next matchup I have for you guys here is Feral Holy Priest. This is a very easy matchup, I would say, for survival, but it's another good matchup to kind of point out some things you should really be looking to do. And there are ways you can lose to Feral Druids. Feral Druids aren't 100% win because they have, with their tier set, their 4 set, their Berserk, have a very potent burst cooldown, so they definitely can kill you in stuns here. You see I open my talents here. I'll have them on the screen just in case you missed it, but I dropped Kim Sting for Mending Badge. Typically, I would drop Survival Tactics for Mending Badge, but I've been gived too many times by Feral Druids, killing me in like the stuns and getting the bite after the stuns are over. So I elected to go Survival Tactics just to prevent their win conditions, because you don't really need Chimeral Sting to win. You can just win eventually in dampening, so there's no real need. Main thing you want to do here, Feral's the kill target, but if the Feral's ever kiting your goes, just swap to the Priest. Don't just hard tunnel the Feral the entire game. If the Feral's running around pillars every time you're going for, even if you harpoon the priest, Feral's running away, just tap target priest. Don't really don't just commit yourself to one target and give them a chance to live and win. So I unfortunately get the Feral out here with the flare, so I just start doing my damage, getting my damage rotation up, getting the kill command bleed, consuming my kill shot procs, get one bomb on cooldown. Priest, unfortunately, in Tim's Holy Word's my in-Tim here. They get a trap because I know he's on global, so I'm gonna pop cooldown here, even though it's Barkskin, because we have mind games. I'm gonna have a lot of damage here. End up getting a tier set proc as well. My priest stores in for the fear, so I start keep doing damage. We end up getting Battlemaster as well from the Feral, so we're definitely getting a lot of cooldowns. He unfortunately, I believe, actually melded my bomb right there. No, my bomb actually went through. We end up getting Guardian as well. They go for a main fear on my healer. He's going for the mind games, and I feign death. So now, I just feign death. So what you're going to see is he's going to apply it on the rip. I'm not going to instantly mending banish that, because I know he still has, he just used Feral Frenzy, but I also know that he has Berserk Bleed. And Berserk Bleed's very scary, so you always want to either have a Feign Death or Mending Banish for Feral Frenzy / Berserk. Now, he just Feral Frenzied there, so I could have committed the Mending Banish, but I was more scared of the fact that I don't have Human, and I know he has Berserk Bleed. So, you always want to have one of those two options to react to Berserk. You never want to have him get a full value Berserk Bleed. You'll end up noticing in the game, I do track the cooldown Berserk. You'll see him almost never press it because he knows I'm holding something for it and he can't just waste the button. He doesn't want to he wants to try to get as much value out of his Berserk Bleed, and I'm making it a lot harder for him. So we get the stun there. I end up, the trap there. We end up committing the Intim on the Feral so he doesn't kite us as much since we just landed the trap. And we have pre-stun for the healer if we need it. I am getting a lot of damage up here. Forced to regen proc. I get main back here, but I'm pretty safe. I'm getting kind of low. He Feral Frenzies me here. This is where I like Feign Death. Feign Death helps keep me alive. Priest could have deathed me. Bunch of multiple things could have happened here. So that's kind of why I like tactics right there. Guaranteed my survival. We end up getting wall as well. So all they really have left is, I believe, Priest Guardians back off cooldown. And then they only have Priest Trinkets. So they're definitely running out of buns here. They're going for a Chastise Fee here. They're trying to do a lot of stuff. You'll see here, I have a Rip, but I saved my Feign Death until the Adaptive Swarm hit me. Because Rip on its own isn't going to do that much damage. But Rip with an Adaptive Swarm is definitely going to do a lot of the Feral's damage. That's kind of like how you want to remove. You never want to just remove a random Rip. You definitely want to make sure it's at times when he has Adaptive Swarm. So right here, I go for the trap. So this is a situation where I shouldn't have gone for the trap on the healer. I should have just started hitting the healer a lot more. Because the Feral got away, he flesh trapped. I mean, I connected pretty quickly, but it's definitely not worth here. I get maimed, but it's DR, unfortunately for them. I pop cooldowns. I kind of used my cooldown in the wrong order. I should have cooldown then through my bomb proc. But it doesn't super matter because at this point, I'm getting extra bomb procs. I'm getting kill shot procs. This can be very hard for this team to handle it. He Adaptive Swarms himself, has Battlemaster regens, and he's still struggling. Guardian comes out. We instantly fear. I don't commit the trap because he's running away from me. So I instantly just see, this is what I should have done the other go. So I immediately just swap for the Priest. Now I'm just going to start chunking the Priest while the Feral's running away. So the Feral's not stopping me, and I'm still getting my damage off. Feral immediately leaps back in. I throw the trap on the Priest. I end up getting Priest Trinket out of that go. So we're definitely looking pretty good here. But now I need to be wary of their kill. I commit turtle here, and it's gonna look a little weird, but I don't have human for 15 more seconds, and that is the only time right there I could lose. My priest was in CC. He doesn't have guardian. He has trinket, but he doesn't have a way to insta top me. So I immediately just commit the turtle because in my head I knew there's no possible way I lose, and I mean it doesn't even get to the next stun DR before we win the game. So that was definitely a pretty good game. I should have swapped around a little bit more, but it shows you, you know. Save your Feign Death, save your Mending. You always want one for the big Feral bleeds. Only really get off Rip when he has this Adaptive Swarm on you. And if the Feral's ever running, just tap target the Priest. You know, don't overextend. So let's just hop into the next game here. Alright guys, next game I have for you is Rest Druid. Another unorthodox 2s comp, but kind of it's gonna hammer home the thing I've been hammering over this entire video is spread pressure. I'll throw the builds up right here. Just so you guys can see, but the name of the game is Spread Pressure. Especially against Rested Druids, It's very hard to kill them through with pure single target. You need to force them to hop themselves. You need to force them to position to keep themselves alive. You need to make them have to think about keeping 2 people alive instead of 1. Because when it becomes a pure single target game, that's when the druid thrives. That's when the druid gets to start doing his rake stun, gets the clones. So right here, they get a double stun clone on me and my healer, so I just immediately human and start cutting the ret cooldowns. I commit the exile as well, just be safe. I end up stunning the ret to just try to stop the pressure because I was a little far away from my priest. I end up getting the ret human there. He's definitely still chunking me. Priest has to commit guardian. It is his wings though, so it's his biggest cooldown. We overlap into priest stun and trap there. But as soon as the druid trinkets, I'm immediately on top of the druid. Because I know the druid's going to be able to keep the red alive, so now I need to make him start thinking about keeping himself alive as well. I need to keep up the pressure here. See, look how much I don't really have any cooldowns for that, and he's taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of pressure, and now look, now the ret has no hots. I'm swapping to the ret. We're looking pretty good. So it's just things like that, you know. I end up getting a harpoon trap on the healer. We get a stun on the ret, no trinket from the ret. He ends up Battlemaster, Shield of Vengeance here. We don't have anything off the druid, but as soon as the trap's done on druid, I swap druid because I need to be maintaining pressure. He's gonna recover the ret here, so either he recovers the ret and he falls behind, or he keeps himself up and the ret doesn't ever really recover. Druid does get a tree form proc though from his tier set, so he's gonna be looking pretty fine here. Do have an intib trap coming up soon for this druid. Still hitting. I'm gonna actually intim. I'm going to do some damage to the druid, because druid has no trinket. He commits Marksman, but he doesn't have really another good way. I end up forcing the regen proc there. I'm still committing druid. They get the sack. That's when I swap ret. Druid's going to probably be fine. I don't have a kill shot proc. I don't have bomb procs, nothing. He's going to be okay. So I immediately just swap the ret. There's no point to committing to the druid. I'm going to look for a harpoon trap right here. I'm going to get it. This is going to end up being, I believe, ret bubble. Actually, no, the ret was playing Judgment Dispel, so I should have had a Hunter's Mark on the druid to protect my trap, since whoever he judgments, it dispels 1 debuff off of everybody, so he ends up getting my trap because I don't have a Hunter's Mark. But we end up getting druid Trink there anyway, because druid's struggling. Druid ends up topping the red, but he's still a little bit low. See, this is a prime example of spread pressure. This druid is at 50% mana, he's at 50% health, the red's not fully topped, red doesn't even have hots, so you know, we're looking really good here. We're definitely in the driver's seat of this game. We're still taking some heat. Ret wings procs are definitely pressuring us, but we're definitely in the driver's seat. I get a full trap. The only hot he has is a regrowth and a life bloom. I'm fishing for a bomb proc there, but don't actually get it. We get a stun on the druid. I almost swapped druid, but I realized the red doesn't really have any hots, and druid doesn't have a super way to recover him. So I end up forcing the bubble. Then I immediately swap druid. No downtime, nothing. I insta swap. Even if he empties the bubble, I'm on druid there. Smack him for a big raptor strike. 17.5k. That's just how we do it here. Druid, Scenario wards, adaptive swarms himself. I'm on ret. His whole arsenal is on himself. I'm on ret now. I'm going ret. You always want to be swapping. You always want to be hitting the easiest target. When you don't have a trap up, you know. So I'm on ret here. I end up just committing turtles so I don't die, since we're going to win soon. He unfortunately gets the Judgment Dispel before I get the 100th mark up. Priest has a stun. We chastise mind games him. I swap him. I half int him. We get the trinket here, but I'm going to kill him anyway, because he just has nothing. He doesn't have an Ironberg, doesn't have an NS. There's no way to recover. That is a prime example of swapping effectively. That's why I want to show this game. But you're not going to run into this comp a lot, and you're not going to really struggle in this comp. But if I was pure single targeting in this game, it would have been a lot harder to force these cooldowns, and this game would have went on a little bit longer. This is a very good game to show about how you should be swapping, keeping up spread pressure, and all of that. All right, we got one more game for you, a highly anticipated game, Outlaw Holy Priest. All right, guys. The Outlaw Holy Priest, we're queuing to 2 AWC competitors. They're both in the circuit. Flop and Chun-Li, very good. Chun hasn't been playing Rogue for long, but definitely after queuing him the past 2 games, we went 1-1 with these guys. He's definitely a legit Outlaw Rogue. So this is probably one of the best Outlaw Priests you're going to find on NA, so I feel like this is a good game. I'll explain what my strat was here. I'm going to throw up the talents. But what I tried to do in the first game is I was trying to tunnel the Priest, Diamond Ice the Rogue, and try to somewhat spread pressure, but mainly kill Priest. That ended up not working out because my Priest can never push in to hit the Priest with me, and it's hard for me to hit the priest because the rogue is shivving me off cooldown. I'm snared. He's running away, so it became a little hard. So I swapped it up. I said I'm gonna go rogue with traps, and then once the rogue is either kiting, has evasion up, or the trap is over, I'm gonna swap priest and spread pressure. The same thing we just talked about with the red archer. I'm gonna spread pressure because that's the best. That's the name of the game is survival. Always, you want to minimize your downtime. So let's just hop right into this game here. This was a good game. So because another thing you have to look out for Outlaw Priest is you feel like you think of Outlaw as like as an arms warrior, the arms warrior of Rogue, but it also has good CC potential. These guys were doing very good Kinney Resonator goes, and they were doing very good goes with their blind. So you have to rotate your cooldowns here very easily. So they blind, they Resonator. My Priest Trinket saves me, because last time I trinketed it first, and then he trinketed the second blind, and we lost on third blind here. So our thought process was that I would use he would use his trinket on the first blind. We get trinket evasion from the rogue. I immediately swap the priest. Priest kind of runs behind a pillar. Evasion's down, so I swap to start getting my damage on rogue here. We're both running pretty hard. I end up noticing that the rogue is blade flaring, so I run away because I know he's blade flaring both of us, and I want to make it easier for my healers, so I kind of run away. Go to hit priest. I have a trap into him here. Priest Knight fades himself, so I immediately get the trap on the healer. I into him the rogue. I throw a flare so we can't vanish away. And we end up getting Priest, Trinket, Guardian, and he has evasion back again. But we end up getting a lot of cooldowns. So that's Priest, Trinket, Guardian, and another evasion. We're looking pretty good here. So I get Kidney here. I'm gonna chill. My Priest is in the air. I shouldn't die here. He has Guardian. We're definitely looking pretty good here. I'm out of this Kidney. I'm back to hitting Rogue again. I believe that was vanished. They Resonator my Priest. I know he doesn't have a Trinket, so I stack in the Resonator so he doesn't take as much damage from him. Spread the pressure out. I go for a trap here, get it. I believe my Priest stuns Rogue here in a second. He definitely has it up. Yeah, he stuns him here now. Committing my bomb procs here. Doing a lot of damage here. Rogue does barely get the cloak off, gets the vial. I end up wasting human because I thought I could kill him, but he had the shield, the rogue stealth conduit, so he ends up living there. So there was a little bit of a wasted human right there. Obviously, it would have been a good human if I killed, but I didn't, so it was definitely a bad human. I should have realized that he would have had the stealth conduit and he would have been fine. But we're definitely in the driver's seat right now. Rogue has nothing. Like, that was his cloak. That was his vanish. I believe he's about to have evasion coming up soon, but Priest doesn't have trinket. I silence. He tries to melt the trap, but I do get the trap. I throw a bomb on the rogue. I end up stunning the rogue over here so I can get uptime so he doesn't run away, because I don't want to swap Priest here, because we're definitely in the driver's seat and the rogue's definitely taking a lot more pressure. Rogue does have evasion back, though, so my Priest MCs, but I try to swap Priest. He drops the MC. I'm on Priest now. Kiting the rogue a little bit, but I'm also trying to cleave the Priest. Evasion's down here in a second, though, so I'm going to swap rogue. They do get a kidney here. This is a pretty scary kidney. Just due to my Priest being in a fear and I don't really have human. I exil here. I don't... I try to hold turtle here. I believe I do. Yeah, my Priest connects the heals. Alright. I force the fade. I believe he's also Holy Word, so I have to deal with Holy Word. I have to deal with death. I'm playing the minigame. Rogue's away, though, so we just commit the stun on the Priest. I just swap Priest, because there's no point in me, forcing myself to just try to get a trap on this Priest. I end up trapping the Ward, though, unfortunately, but I have PI, I have cooldowns up here, so I'm doing a lot of damage. I'm committing damage anyway, even without CC. Because even though Outlaw Rogue is really tanky and Holy Priest does a lot of HPS, Survival does a lot of damage. And it's really hard, even for the really good healers, to handle Survival damage. Look right here. This Priest is free casting. I swap him, and I just kill him. During my cooldowns, he wasn't ready for it. He had Guardian on the Rogue, and he just wasn't ready for the swap there. So they obviously kind of the Priest probably could have saved himself, but you kind of see we were still somewhat in the driver's seat. I still have Turtle. My Priest trinketed recently, but we still had cooldowns. We were still looking pretty good there. So that's kind of basically how you want to do it. Name of the game of this video is spread pressure, minimize your downtime, always be doing damage. They say it's the ABCs, this is the ABDs. Always be doing damage. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Leave me feedback in the comments, or if you have any questions, let me know. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.